to the world-famous Alaska Highway!
The Alaska Highway, at almost twice the length of California, runs from Canada to Alaska, taking you through some of the most epic and remote landscapes on the planet.
In this video, we'll take you from the highway's start in British Columbia to the border of the Yukon, showing you epic animal encounters and some bucket list stops along the way. Today, we are officially starting the Alaska Highway at mile 0. The Alaska Highway runs for 1,400 miles, starting in British Columbia, running all the way through the Yukon Territory to Delta Junction, Alaska. Today, though, we're just going to be driving about 6 hours to the second stop on that sign, Fort Nelson. I'm so excited. We have spent the last 5 months essentially driving to this point, and we are finally on our way to Alaska for the next 2 months. Woohoo! Alaska Highway! Today is mostly going to be a driving day as we make our way to Fort Nelson, but we did make one stop in Dawson Creek, which is the Walter Wright Pioneer Village, which is this really cool collection of buildings from the early 1900s when Dawson Creek was originally settled that you can walk around. Look at all the cool blacksmithing tools behind me. It's a pay-as-you-want kind of experience, so it's perfect if you want to stay. You could honestly wander around here for a couple hours. There's so much cool stuff to look at, or alternatively, it would be perfect for just quickly stretching your legs before you make the long drive today.
We're in this replica firehouse, and man, this place is so cool. I love how the old fire engines, A, used to be convertibles, and B, the old fireman costumes, uniforms, used to be, look like spaceman suits. What are they called? Astronauts. I'm on top of it.
Spaceman suits.
While we're on the topic of history, let's back up and explain how the Alaska Highway came to be. After the bombing of Pearl Harbor in 1941, the United States was concerned that Alaska would be subject to attack by Japan and received Canada's approval to build a road that would safely deliver troops and supplies to Alaska. Over 20,000 soldiers and civilians were sent from the US and Canada to construct this 1,400-mile road as quickly as possible, with the orders to keep constructing the road until they met in the middle. The workers, who were disproportionately black, endured incredibly challenging conditions, including extremely cold and snowy weather, tons of mosquitoes and flies in the summer, and some of the most challenging terrain in all of North America with rudimentary construction equipment. Still, these workers managed to finish this Herculean task in just 8 months, with the highway that we know today opening to the public in 1948.
So we've heard that parts of the Alaska Highway are really difficult to maintain because of the harsh winters and how remote it is, and that many sections of it are long stretches of gravel. We just reached the first gravel section and it wasn't very long, and thankfully nothing terrible happened. We have this joke that bears don't exist because even though we lived in Washington for 4 years and hiked every single weekend, we never saw bears somehow.
So unlucky with wildlife.
Yeah, but so far today we have seen 3 bear, and we actually had a video of this one, so hopefully Justin will overlay it here.
Yeah, it's not like the best video.
But I'm very excited because bear do indeed exist. We just found out today, right now. The first stretch of the Alaska Highway from Dawson Creek to Fort Nelson doesn't have a lot of stuff going on, so we primarily focused on booking it through this 500-kilometer stretch, calling it a night a bit past Fort Nelson in the Muskwa River recreation site. It is officially our second day on the Alaska Highway. Today we are driving to Muncho Lake with a hopeful stop at Stone Mountain Provincial Park. However, it's a little bit rainy, so I'm not sure if it's exactly going to be the weather that we're looking for the hike that we were planning on doing.
This is so scary. I've got cruise control set at 25 miles an hour. I can barely see like 100 feet up. Got my brights on just in case. I'll turn them off if somebody passes, but oh my god, that's like terrifying.
Yeah, not great.
So are we missing epic views right now? Like, should we just pull over and camp for a day?
I mean, I think the weather along the Alaska Highway is pretty unpredictable, and unfortunately it kind of looks like the rest of the way is going to be sort of cloudy and rainy. So I mean, but we could wait it out, but I don't know that it would be very time effective. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure it's going to be hiking weather today.
Oh my god, he's crossing. Oh my god. Wow, we almost hit him. Oh my God. Wow. You don't see that every day.
Wow.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
I'm so glad I saw him and that it wasn't covered in that clouds. We were just driving through that thick cloud like 2 minutes ago. I don't know that I would have seen it.
Oh no, you might have hit a bear.
Oh my, I don't know if I could live with myself if I hit a bear. Oh
Also, I'm
God.
so sad my camera wasn't rolling. I thought it was, but the bear just was like staring into Justin's soul for a while. He was like
Wow.
on the opposite side of the road and was like trying to make a decision. And wow, what a, yeah. Alaska Highway definitely has some unique moments. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
I'm glad you didn't hit a bear though.
Dude, that would have been horrible. Yeah, not the YouTube video I want to make.
Because of its extreme weather conditions, one of the things that the Alaska Highway is kind of infamous for is construction, and we have officially ran into the first bout of construction that we've seen along the way. I would just say in general, if you have things that you absolutely want to do on the Alaska Highway, it would be a really good idea to give yourself plenty of time, like multiple days extra, because for example today I'm guessing we're gonna wind up skipping the hike that I was looking forward to because the weather's kind of gross and it's supposed to be gross for the next multiple days. So in case you run into bad weather or some gnarly construction along the way, it definitely would be helpful to have plenty of buffer. We were just talking about how impressed we are with the Alaska Highway, at least the part that runs through British Columbia. Like the road is so far perfect. And in addition to that, there's like a lot of pull-offs that have garbage bins, recycling bins, emergency telephones, like every 5 miles. It's kind of incredible, but I am interested to see how it changes once we get to the Yukon, because we just read this article that up until 2019, the United States actually provided funding to help the Canadians maintain the Alaska Highway throughout the Yukon, but they stopped that in 2019, and the Yukon government has said that that part of the highway needs hundreds of millions of dollars of repairs, and we read that the Alaskan government is going to pay somewhere around like $30 million to help them maintain it, but those upgrades aren't happening until next year. So I don't know, what do you think the road in the Yukon is going to be like?
So far, everything's been pretty good. I mean, we are used to dispersed camping. That's kind of our preference. So Jessica and I aren't unfamiliar with very sketchy forest roads that haven't been like graded with fresh gravel in years or decades. So
since World War II sometimes.
So I think our experience towing a trailer is different from the majority of RVers. So I mean, if it's like this for the remainder of the way, I'll be pretty pleased with that.
We are officially at the first stop of the day, which is Stone Mountain Provincial Park. I unfortunately think it's a little too gross out for hiking. It's raining, it's kind of foggy, so I think the mountain views would be obscured. It's about 44 degrees out, so it's also pretty cold, and per the weather report, it's supposed to start thunderstorming in an hour or two, which I kind of just don't think might actually be dangerous, so not exactly the most ideal weather conditions, but if you come along the Alaska Highway, I really hope you get better weather conditions than us. The trail that we were gonna do is called the Flower Springs Lake Trail. That one was 6 miles. There's a shorter one called the Baba Canyon Trail. That's something like 3.6 miles. So be sure to add this on your list while you are heading out, because the views here look absolutely beautiful. I usually get pretty disappointed when like things don't work out because of the weather, and I've gotten a little bit better since we started doing full-time travel, but I have to say that I'm pretty bummed that the weather isn't cooperating a little bit better, because you can tell how just absolutely stunning the landscape is, and you can kind of get little peeks of it here and there, but wow, I bet this is just like mind-blowingly beautiful when there's no clouds.
Welcome to our home for the next couple days, Muncho Lake.
As you can see, the weather blessedly cleared up a little bit, and so we get to enjoy Muncho Lake. Muncho actually means big lake in the Kaska First Nations language. It is 7.5 miles in length and 1 mile long, so it is indeed pretty big and actually one of the biggest lakes in all of the Canadian Rockies. The color is actually from copper oxide that leaches into the water, and it's absolutely beautiful. We're currently staying at the Strawberry Flats Campground, which costs $20 Canadian a night, and you get to park right along the lakeside. Very excited to have this view for the next 2 days.
It is 10 out of 10 beautiful. If you are making this trek up to Alaska, definitely plan on staying here overnight if you can. And also, show up early. We got here at like 11:30 a.m., which is much earlier than we typically arrive at campgrounds. And there was only a few spots left along the lake. And within a couple hours, all of the spots filled up. People were circling around, and I think this site's full now. We're gonna go walk around to confirm, but man, this place fills up quick, and I can totally see why. After enjoying Muncho Lake for a few days, we hit the road again to see some of the stops we were most excited for along the Alaska Highway.
So our first stop of the day is the Mineral Lakes Trail, which is supposed to be an awesome place to see wildlife in Muncho Lake, as well as having a beautiful view of the lake. However, we've been driving around for a while and can't seem to find it. This is what, well, my Google Maps offline maps unfortunately didn't download, so it looks a little funky anyway, but Justin has his downloaded, and it kind of just has some random spot in the middle of the mountain that doesn't have any like roads or anything leading to it. So we drove past where we thought it was, and now we're heading the opposite direction. This might sound a little crazy, but we're thinking about actually setting up the Starlink so that we can just get directions from all trails. I would just say, if you're doing anything on the Alaska Highway, make sure to have any kind of offline maps that you have available. We're even using the milepost book to reference like different mile markers, but unfortunately this trailhead just doesn't seem to be marked anywhere. Okay, so we are getting out Starlink to figure out where this trail is.
It's kind of annoying, but it only takes like a minute, and it's pretty cool to know that we have high-speed data, like even in the most remote regions of the planet. So we're just gonna do a quick and dirty version. Put it on top of the roof. I'm gonna go turn on the inverter. I'll be right back.
So we found two different paths that look like they might be the trail. One is maybe about, I don't know, 800 yards that way, and then now we're on this road right here. It's supposed to be a loop trail, I think, so it's possible. I don't know. We could just drive down this way, but with a trailer, you can't just turn around anywhere.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Thanks, Starlink. Open Google Maps. Oh, wow. We're 5.7 kilometers. I'm glad we didn't turn down that road. We drove past this random gravel pit a half mile back. She's like, that's gotta be it. And then we came to this gravel road that's unmarked. She's like, turn down that. That's gotta be it.
I don't know. Well, so we're going off of the milepost is the famous book that kind of lists like every single pull off and viewpoint and hike along the way, including its mileage. And per the milepost, it should be here, but it's not. So anyway, you want to get in the car?
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta tear down Starlink first. Right. So it says we're 2.7 miles away, so we're headed back south again. I guess we passed it at some point. So this is a good reminder to download offline maps like Jess said. Also, if you don't know what All Trails is, it's an app that lets you basically track your hikes with GPS. It's free, but if you get the All Trails Plus, which is like their premium membership, it's a one-time fee per year, and then you can download those maps. So even if you don't have cell service, you can track your route on GPS. And aside from Google Maps, it's probably the app that we use the most. It's really cool. So if you're into hiking and you're going to be doing the Alaska Highway, definitely look into All Trails Plus. I think we have like a code that'll get you a free month or something like that.
You get 30% off, so click the link in the description below.
There you go.
The reason I want to go on this trail so bad is that it's supposed to be an excellent place to see wildlife, so I really hope there is some sheep or some other types of wildlife on this trail to make it worth all of this effort.
Hey, that looks Mineral Lakes.
We found it! This is very, very beautiful.
This powdery material beneath our feet isn't ordinary soil. It's largely rock flour, tiny flakes of rock carved from the mountains by glaciers long ago. Limestone, dolomite, and shale make up the mountains upstream. These provide the base elements found in the rock flour: calcium, magnesium, sulfur, phosphorus, and sodium. Hoofed animals need all of these for their bones, teeth, and hair, so stone sheep, moose, and caribou come to these slopes to lick the soil. Well, if you're looking for a short little trail with some stunning nature, this is definitely one. It's right off the highway, so it's not hard to get to. I just recommend downloading your route before you hit the road and leave your campsite because it's kind of hard to find on Google Maps.
If you want to have a little bit better luck of seeing wildlife than we did, I'd suggest heading to the Mineral Lakes Trail either at dawn or dusk when wildlife is most active. Even though we didn't see any wildlife, I'm super glad that we went. It's a beautiful trail and it's an excellent opportunity to stretch your legs. Next up, we're heading to one of the most popular stops along the entire Alaska Highway, Liard Hot Springs. To get to Liard Hot Springs, you need to walk along a 0.4-mile wooden boardwalk across wetlands. I read in the milepost that there's something like over 250 different species of plants that call this wetland home. It's also supposed to be an excellent place to spot moose. We haven't seen any yet, but we're keeping our fingers crossed. So the hot springs have two different sections. The temperature ranges from 125 degrees at the hot end, which is extremely hot, all the way down to 98 degrees in this cooler section. Right now, we're enjoying the cooler section mostly because it's shaded and it's strangely sunny as compared to the rest of our Alaska Highway experience, but it feels pretty nice. One of the things that we really like about Liard Hot Springs is even though it's a maintained state park now, they've really done an awesome job keeping it as natural as possible. As you can see in this kind of like cold area here, there's this like neat little area that sort of winds back into this, reminds me of like a fern gully forest. It's very lush and green and feels very magical. Justin historically does not have a very good tolerance for either hot or cold water.
I like it, right in the middle.
So let's see how far Justin can go.
I'm like Goldilocks. That's too hot.
This hot spring is so interesting because it ooh yeah, there's like waves of like boiling hot water. Let's just appreciate how crystal clear this water is though.
We spent the afternoon soaking in the hot springs before hitting the road north. Fortunately for us, we didn't make it very far before seeing lots of furry friends along the highway. Oh my God, there's like 10 bison here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 babies! 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 4 of which are babies. Oh my God. Well, dang, that was pretty cool.
That was super cool. So those are called wood bison. I'm learning all of this from the handy dandy milepost. They're called wood bison, and I believe that they are native to Canada, but were actually unfortunately hunted to extinction. However, Canada reintroduced them, I believe, in like the 1940s or 1950s, and they have begun proliferating in this northern area of British Columbia. Also, fun fact, we know that all of the bison that we passed back there are lady bison and kiddo bison. All of the men are solitary.
Are they really called lady and kiddo bison?
I think that's the scientific. I think they're called cows and calves, like basically all the other types.
I like lady and kiddo.
The bulls or dude bison are solitary and only really come and socialize during mating season.
Oh, I didn't know that. Typical dudes.
Thanks, milepost.
Saw our first brown bear. Maybe. Honestly, one looks brown and one looks black. Look at that. That's a brown bear.
That does look like a brown bear.
Doesn't one look black and one look brown?
Yeah.
Do black bears and brown bears hang out?
I don't think so.
Wow. Baby, that's a brown bear. But we've seen black bear cubs. They don't look like that. Maybe it's just a cub? Do black bear cubs look brown? Please, let us know in the comments. It's so crazy how many bear we've been seeing. They just munch. We're headed to Smith River Falls. I hope it looks really cool because the road to get to it is in pretty rough shape, but more importantly, it is very narrow with almost no pull-offs, and this road is like 1.5 miles long, and I am praying that we don't run into another RVer going the opposite direction because one of us is gonna have to do a lot of backing up. Oh my God, that is insane. Whoa!
Oh, that is really pretty.
Oh my God. Wow, that looks, I cannot wait for them to see this. Oh my God, this road is so bad.
Yeah, don't come down this road with an RV.
Oh my God, that is so neat. Wow.
I think there used to be a wooden boardwalk that you could walk to, like, the base of the fall, but I think unfortunately it washed away, but you can still enjoy it from the parking lot. Also, can I just say that the water, or the sun feels so good. After it being cold and rainy and gross for the last couple of days, feeling the sun on my back just feels like,
Yeah, it's really nice. Okay, we're on our way, 1.5 miles back to the main road. Fingers crossed nobody else comes down this because it's gonna be a standoff. So our next stop and our last stop for this video is the border between British Columbia and the Yukon. And while we're still about 40 miles away from the actual sign that shows that you crossed over into the Yukon, you technically cross over a few times before then. And we are literally a few hundred feet from crossing into the Yukon. This is a big moment. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Yukon! Wow, look at all those stickers! After 607 miles of driving from Dawson City, we have officially made it here, the Yukon, the 60th parallel.
Next week, we're going to be finishing our journey through the Yukon and finally crossing into Alaska as we finish the Alaska Highway. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like it and subscribe to follow our journey from the southernmost point of the United States, Key West, Florida, all the way up to Tuktoyaktuk, the furthest north that you can drive in North America in the Arctic Circle. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week in Alaska!